Good afternoon, YouTubers. This is RV Lady, and if you watched my video from yesterday, you know that I was going to do a big reveal. It's probably not so big to you, but it is to me. Okay, now, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but here we go. Last year, I had actually planned on leaving and had set it all up, and it took me like a year and a half to set it up so that I could go. Now, a full-time RVing. I was making a check of the roof just to make sure that nothing was going to leak or leaking or whatever. I live in Southern California. We don't get a whole lot of rain, so basically I'm up there looking for cracks. I found a couple of things and put some goo on them, and all good. Now, on my way down the ladder, the ladder went one way and I went down. And when I went down, I ended up getting a concussion, breaking my shoulder, and breaking my arm. Now, this was, I want to say, a year ago, February, end of February-ish. And I was freaking out. Now, here's why I was freaking out. Not only was I looking to leave, and I had planned on leaving mid-April, but that was, of course, scratched. The other thing that we were doing was preparing for a at-home wedding for my daughter and her now husband. I was in charge of making sure the yard looked really good, landscaping and, changing things around and flowers and things like that. That was my duty. So now I have a broken arm and a broken shoulder, and I went to the doctor, orthopedist, and he was, couldn't work getting it into a cast fast enough. Well, the cast was basically going to be, I don't know if you can see this, but my arm extended with a pole that goes down here onto my side, and I was going to have to be like this for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks, depending on how fast I healed. And I passed. I said, no, let's not do that. So he basically, I went to the emergency room first, and then I went to the orthopedist. Basically what happened was that I said, I'm going to wrap it up real tight, which he did for me. He wrapped it up real tight, and it lasted, about a day. I just couldn't stand it. So, long story short, I didn't want to have pictures of myself in my daughter's wedding with a cast on that extended the way he had it planned. And so I opted for ace bandages and as tight as I could stand them. Now, the reason I'm telling you this story is because this is my downfall. Okay, so February, March, April, we're at April. I've made it through the wedding. I couldn't wear the dress that I was going to wear because I had to be able to pull it over my head, and now I needed to, and then, without bending my arm, or I needed to pull it up without bending my arm. So, needless to say, I went out and bought something for like 20 bucks, and it was all stretchy, and I could get into it as long as I didn't have to get out of it fast and things like that. Somebody could help me. Okay, so, I would have to say the wedding cake became my downfall. I have put on, since last year, roughly 45 pounds. And, yeah, I knew it was happening. I wasn't exercising. I couldn't do yoga. I could have walked. I could have, continued my hour-long walk every day, but what I like to do is I like to walk, and then there are these stairs that I like to do, and I go up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs, and then I go to the next staircase and go up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs. So I couldn't do that anymore, so that ended my cardio. The weights started coming on. What did I do? Moved into sweatpants, and if they were becoming a little tight, it was because the dryer shrunk them. So, needless to say, I'm fat. And I need to get rid of this because my future life does not require an extra 45 pounds. And by the rate I'm going to be 80 pounds by March. So I need to lose this weight, and I'm going to let you guys encourage me, or just call me Fatty Fatty 2x4. I don't care. This is a personal mission for me. I'm good at that. I'm good at setting goals and achieving them. So I don't really see any difficulty. The other thing that I did that was such a huge mistake is that I started doing pain relievers. You know, the Vicodins and the Percocets and whatever wouldn't upset my stomach while I took them, things like this. And really bad. You know, I've avoided those things all of my life, but I was in such pain that, and every time I moved, and God forbid I should bump into something, I just went loopy for a couple weeks. And going loopy opens you up to all kinds of avenues like Pepsi Cola and chocolate and cake and rich foods, and, you know, why not? I'm so miserable, I might as well stuff my face. So that ended about a week ago. I have a juicer. I also have one of those ninjas. Okay, I don't like the ninja as much as I like the juicer. Now, I started juicing about a week ago. And basically, the weight that I've lost, which is a few pounds, not really important because I don't feel it, so subsequently it doesn't count. But this is a romaine and kale and carrots and apples and strawberries. I think I threw in there because they were getting kind of ripe. And I think that's all, but there might be more in there, I'm not really sure. But I juice all these things, and then I drink it. Now, the reason that I don't count the first 5 pounds or so is because I call those the poop pounds. Basically, that's your digestive system cleaning out and getting all the yuck out of there, and so that you can start afresh. And with juicing, it's real easy to do. And so I began like a week ago. Now, I like juicing. I really do. I don't know why I fight this. It's to punish myself for falling off the roof. This all goes back to falling off the roof of the RV and having to postpone my trip and having to engage myself in other responsibilities so that I couldn't go. I mean, even if my shoulder and arm miraculously healed, I still couldn't go. Now, it wasn't to the point where I had to have surgery, because that wasn't even an option anyway, as far as I'm concerned. Going to sleep with drugs and then having somebody come at me with a knife is not something I would just say, gee, let's do that. I'm not as trusting as maybe everybody else is. But anyway, I'm going to be doing this juicing, and then I'm going to move to the Ninja, which basically what the Ninja does is give you a little more micro something, biotics. And I'm going to stay with the complex proteins, and because I need those, because I'm an old woman. And basically what the juicing has done for me is it makes my skin look better. It's probably a little better on my bones. Getting some of this weight off is going to be way better on my bones. And bonus, I'll be able to fit into all my clothes again. Yeah, because I can't do that because I've been wearing stretchy clothes. With stretchy clothes, you know, they stretch. It's a very bad thing. Whoever invented that should be, I don't know, killed. We should all put ourselves in as tight a clothes as possible so that we can feel as uncomfortable as possible so we don't eat as much. Anyway, that's my big story. And so I'm going to be doing that, and hopefully these videos are going to be showing me results. Sure, I can step on a scale and I can see results, but it's, you know, a digital number never makes up for how your clothes feel, or how much thinner your face gets, things like that. So that's basically what I'm going to do, and then make sure that I'm, being more active every day. I can kind of do yoga, even though everything that I do that entails my right arm hurts. And then, but I can just push through it because it's not that painful, so I can push through it. The other thing is just walking, just going out and walking, which I'll take you along. I've already walked today. I didn't do any yoga. I'm going to do that later. And I do all these things from home. I don't go to a gym or anything because who needs that? Sure, there are people who look good at the gym, and that's why they're at the gym, because they look good at the gym. For every fatty that walks in the door and looks at all those people that look like they've been doing it forever, even though we all know it's genetics, not encouraging. So I don't do that. And then, of course, the sun's going to start shining here more in Southern California, and a tan is always good for 5 pounds. We all know that. I guess that's all for today. There was something else that I wanted to add. Oh, yes. I watched a movie last night, which I thought was really indicative of RV people. And not that it has an RV in it, but I suppose it's the concept of being different, of not going with the mainstream for people who are brave enough to step outside of their realm of comfortable and succeed or fail. Doesn't matter. You succeed or fail. Anyway, the movie is called Divergent. It's on HBO. And, it's young people and good-looking people and, futuristic kind of concepts. And not necessarily good, just futuristic. And I really found it to be, and it probably just hit me because I've been juicing, so my brain's clearing out a little bit. It really hit me as the heroine of the story is basically all the RVers out there. And then the factions are people who judge you for being different, for wanting something that is not mainstream, for going out of your way to not be mainstream. And, or maybe not going out of your way, but it just feels more natural. For me, the RV living, camping, hiking, being in a boondocking situation, whether I'm in a tent or an RV or whatever, it feels natural to me. It feels like the natural way for me to exist. Having a house, keeping up the house, mowing the lawn, trimming the hedges, none of that feels natural to me. None of it. And never has. Even being a mom. It was one of those things where I woke up one day and said, gee, I think I'll have a baby. It was not something that I dreamt of or played with dolls as a little girl, because I didn't do that. When I had my daughter, I had no idea how to put a disposable diaper on her once I brought her home from the hospital. So, but she's fine. She's 26 years old and more sane than anybody I know, especially myself. And we're just complete opposites. It's real interesting. She hates the outdoors. I love the outdoors. Her idea of camping is, barbecuing in the backyard. She does not, I've tried to take her out with me, and it's just an exercise in misery for both of us. So we don't do that anymore. We recognize that we have our limitations. But anyway, back to, being fat. First, you have to acknowledge the fact that you are whatever it is. And I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drug addict. I'm, none of those things. I'm a fatty. So I've acknowledged that, I'm an RV lady and I'm a fatty. that's enough disclosing for today. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope their Sunday is being nice to them. And even if you're 2 feet in snow, hopefully you have a fire going and you're snuggling up with a great book. Um, if you're in Southern California like me, yeah, step outside because it's gorgeous. And that's where I'm going to be spending most of my day is outdoors. So I will now take the hour and a half that it takes to upload this and put it on later. Okay, so thanks, and y'all take care, and I'll see you next time.